What's going on, watchers? Will here with a Cloverfield video for you, and today we are going over the ending of the surprise Netflix drop, the Cloverfield Paradox. So, without further ado, let's dive right in, and obviously, spoilers inbound. So Ava Hamilton, played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw, seems to be our surviving member of the Cloverfield station crew, as we saw both Monk and Schmidt take a bullet. Ava manages to overpower Mina Jensen, played by Elizabeth Debicki, and blow her out one of the areas of the ship by shooting into the sides of a vulnerable point on the station. We see Schmidt, unlike Monk, can actually take a bullet to the gut as Ava quickly patches him up to get the Shepard device functioning again to send them back home. It powers up and they are back in our dimension, getting in contact with Central Command to verify that yes, this is their home, and they are met with immense joy. Then they are asked if the power output of the device is functioning correctly. They power it up one last time, and yes, it does work, and Earth finally has its fuel source for the future. Ava and Schmidt climb into an escape pod and set course to return home to Earth. Ava's husband Michael is met with the good news, but he doesn't seem too excited on her return. In fact, he screams at the Central Command to tell them to turn around, to get away from the dangers that lie beneath on the Earth below. A familiar tune swells up as we see them break past the atmosphere and through the clouds. Then there's a silence. A Cloverfield monster breaks through the high-top clouds, emitting a massive roar as we cut to credits. So, this end sequence answers some things but also makes some other questions arise. We get a confirmation that yes, the monster has returned. It could or couldn't be the same one from 2008, but this monster not only exists on our planet, it's a heck of a lot bigger than the first one we've seen. So when Abrams said it was a baby, he was not really saying it was just in mentality, despite it being asleep in the ocean for thousands of years. We see one of them walking around in the fire and ash of a destroyed city earlier in the movie, but this tells us that they can get bigger. We also know that the counter-Earth from the other dimension has been at war for 14 months, while our heroes are stuck in an alien invasion Earth, so apples and oranges? However, this gives us a lot of timeline and reality questions, because we as the viewer know this monster, but it is looking like this is the first time Earth has encountered it, and the movie is set around 2028. The film does a good job at deliberately avoiding giving dates and locations as details other than Earth and space for most of the time. But the original film with the Hammer Down Protocol in New York takes place in 2008. If this is the same universe and a monster of the same species, how was all of that glossed over? New York is big enough that the people that survived would remember a giant monster from 2 decades before. And frankly, where did the monster come from? We know the original monster came out of the ocean, but this one just kind of fell from the sky. When the destruction hits the city, everyone assumes it was a nuclear strike, which means it came from above clearly and not below. There's also questions of whether the survival of Ava and Schmidt was just a thing because we saw the monster go up the clouds and they must have seen it on the way back through it. One of the perks of this being a universe is that we have all this beautiful speculation that we can make and all these questions that arise from it. It really does make me wonder what they're going to do for the 4th movie, Overlord, which is set in the past, and how it will kind of connect to the present without throwing the timeline out the window. There is a potential idea for how all of this will be connected and how it can actually make sense, and it all has to do with the Shepard particle accelerator. See, when they activated the accelerator and were jettisoned between dimensions, what they believe is that this rip in reality and space-time not only affected the physics around them and where they went, but it also yanked a bunch of monsters and aliens from somewhere else. It flung one into the past that lay dormant and woke up in 2008. It flung one back to their Earth that crash landed in the city, and it threw a whole different one at some point in time to either the time or the reality of 10 Cloverfield Lane. The tagline of this movie is, "The future unleashed everything." And I think this holds a lot of truth, and in a way, it's kind of a prequel despite being the 3rd film. The Cloverfield Paradox is in fact where everything began. That's just a theory. A Cloverfield Paradox dimensional theory. Anyways, Leave a comment below and tell me your thoughts about the Cloverfield Paradox ending. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Hybrid Network. For more content, check out our website and Patreon. I'm Will, and I'll see you next time.